Muy bien, buenos días. Pues vamos a comenzar el segundo día de las jornadas en Madrid. Antes de presentar al primer, deciros que tenemos ahí a la derecha el Twitter y os animo a todos a tuitear vuestros pensamientos, lo que se os ocurra, ¿no? Con el hashtag #eMadridNet. Bien, en primer lugar tenemos hoy una conferencia invitada también de excepción. Se trata de Marcus Pecht, que va a disertar sobre el tema Linking Sensors, Actuators and Learning. Marcus ha estudiado psicología en Alemania, con un énfasis en sistemas adaptativos para educación y sistemas inteligentes de tutoría. Y después trabajó en la empresa, en particular trabajó en el Instituto Fraunhofer, el departamento de conocimiento móvil, Mobile Knowledge. Y desde 2005 es catedrático, es profesor en la Open University de los Países Bajos, profesor de tecnologías avanzadas del aprendizaje. Por tanto, una persona muy experta para hablarnos de precisamente el mobile learning, el aprendizaje móvil. Cuando quieras, Marcus, thank you very much for accepting to give this talk, and whenever you're ready. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction, for the invitation to come here and talk a bit about our work. There's a little feedback here, I think. Okay, so what I'm talking about today, is that better? I give you a bit background where I'm coming from. The Open University in the Netherlands, we have about 8 faculties. We have an associated research center, the Center for Learning Sciences and Technologies, where I'm working. I'll just try to move this in a different direction. Probably that's better. You find all information about the work we're doing, about the research programs, the lab activities on Cellstack.org. We also have a presence on iTunes U and YouTube Edu, so you find some video material, video footage from the faculties, from our university on these channels. And basically we are at the moment investing in a new initiative, also a new kind of model on community-based learning support that's on openu.nl. From the research side, we have about 3 programs in Cellstack. Cellstack has about roughly 100 full-time equivalents, a bit more. And we are looking at learning from different perspectives. Paul Kirschner, you may know, he's heading the program on learning and cognition. We have a perspective learning networks for professional development that is headed by Peter Sloop. And Wim Westerer and me are heading the learning media program, where we take more or less the media perspective on learning support. So this is a bit the research part. We have our own master program and some strategic activities more on open educational resources, I mentioned just with OpenUNL. To give you a bit an idea about one other activity of mine, which is running the Learning Innovation Lab. Basically what we do there is end-user workshops, working with new technologies, working in strategic groups, like what is the potential assessment for new technologies, use cases, use scenarios, and just hands-on practices. And I give you a very short introduction about that. Don't know if we have audio also from this.
Every day I'm on many social networks.
I'm on MSN.
Twitter, I'm on Hive, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Xing.
Skype I'm on, online all day.
So these are all colleagues from
I
mine.
use Delicious every day to memorize and share with my colleagues.
It's all about interaction, having access to worldwide resources.
We use the technologies ourselves in the lab.
Mobiles in the classroom, mobiles in general will be universal tools. You can drop all kind of software and applications on it, and we will use it for different things.
I couldn't live without it anymore.
Most of my life is online. I'm quite sure it's a form of addiction. It's an addiction to
Okay, that's an interesting point. Sorry, I just need to switch off my other audio channel here. So, here we go. Okay, so I want to end with the last part where the colleague of mine, Stéphane Tanier, mentioned these are kind of also addictive technologies. And that's actually the starting point for my talk. So you might heard of Space Invaders. This is a website from an artist called Invader. And he detected intrusion of aliens and alien technology. Luckily, it only happened in Spain, in Barcelona, not in Madrid yet, so we're safe. But the point for today is that we did research in the last 10 years on this problem, so we anticipated a bit of that. And I will give you some of our findings to prepare you for the further invasion. Basically, most of the things started when Mark Weiser came up with the notion of ubiquitous technologies. And an artist built a small thing called the dangling string. Basically, it's a plastic spaghetti hanging from the ceiling, attached to a motor, and it was like an early detection system. So the motor rotation was connected to the network traffic. So if a lot of people would access the broadcast of this talk, we would hear it as the rotor speeds faster or turns faster, and the pitch of the plastic spaghetti would get up high. So it would make a lot of noise. And so this was a kind of starting point where you have an embedded display in the environment. You had a sensor, basically a sensor taking the network traffic and implementing that or connecting that to the rotation of a motor and to a sound from which a human that can perceive the sound can learn something, probably. Yeah? Then developments in 2005 got more and more dramatic. I think it's very nicely described, the scenarios in the book of Adam Greenfield, The Dawning Age of Ubiquitous Computing. He describes it on all kinds of levels. So just to give you an idea, with basic or with experiments like adding sensors to carpets, you can detect with a probability of about 80% the gender and the age of a person walking on this floor. Yeah? So it's happening everywhere. It did happen everywhere. And the difficult thing about it is that we didn't realize the change. Often we just didn't realize it. We use a newspaper in the morning. We want to read our newspaper.
The new Newsday app is better than the newspaper in all kinds of ways.
This is the marketing part now. But the fly, you couldn't see the fly. There was a fly. You want
every
to
day
crash your fly, and you realize suddenly it's not a newspaper I'm holding in my hand. It's something different. So, and this happened even faster. So all the development is speeding up. Every year you get like, now in 2007 it has been 1.2 billion mobile phones being spread out every year. In 2014, more people will access the mobile internet or the internet via a mobile device than a stationary device. So this is really a rapid movement and development of the integration of new kind of technology in our everyday life. And of course, on the one hand, they are used for tracking also. Just recently there was some discussion about iPhones tracking you and Android devices tracking you and storing that on a server or on your mobile device. Nevertheless, we can use this technology also the other way. One important thing if you talk about tracking is that mobiles have a lot of sensors built in. So they can already sense a lot about your environment, where you are, And the important issue is that you carry them with you. I mean, whom of you has a mobile phone with you? Okay, so a lot of you can be tracked, but you can probably also use it for different things. An interesting comparison is if you come from the background of cognitive psychology, as I do, perception qualities of humans and how do you perceive things. So what parts of a scenario can we sense, and for what parts of your environment you already have sensors either built into mobile technology or attached to a mobile device. So for light, sound, temperature, magnetic, electrical, even you have some sensors that humans don't have. Chemical sensors, for example, or certain ultrasound sensors, which are also used, for example, in augmenting human perception. And there is a lot of engineering going on in that area, using these sensors not only on the raw data level, but also on higher levels of abstraction. What I mean with that is, you have a light sensor built in your mobile phones. In most of the smartphones you have these light sensors. And you can use this to detect if a person is indoors, outdoors, the lighting condition of the room. If you combine that with an audio sensor, you can, so the more sensors you combine, the more precise you can get on identifying the context of a person. Of course, this is a problem. Context detection, context analysis, there's a lot of research going on to this. I'm not talking about that in the sense of like we should have or we will have an AI system that can identify very precisely our context. But what I would argue for is that in most cases it's sufficient to identify a part of the context that is relevant. And this continues currently with developments with biosensors that can then additionally get some information about the user status. Yeah? So basically, you can perceive a smartphone or mobile device as a kind of sensor pack you carry around with you. Yeah? And the question is, what can we do with that? The other question from a more psychology point of view, so does that really make a difference, if things become smarter, that you carry around with you, that people, that things that can sense something or perceive or collect data, however you want to take it, and what is the impact on a learning experience? And there are certain studies from the field of psychology on that. One example is that is a project from Microsoft Research, SenseCam. Out of that also a product was developed. Basically what you can see on the lower part image, it's a kind of, it's a camera with sensors, and the sensors detect if I move, if the lighting changes, and every time the lighting changes or a movement takes place, basically it takes a snapshot. And in research this was used, like you have then a kind of movie of the day. So this was used with amnesia patients to give them a better recall of what happened.